in this day and age, and I'm talking 21st century, the way the world works, to spoon feed kids in schools what they're doing is counterproductive to the way the world works. It's kind of an evolution. So over the course of the years of PSCS, we started with a process that had a little less student involvement. When we first started, we just asked for input and then we would make the schedule and then have the students sign up. We found that that wasn't the most engaging way, and the students sometimes felt like things weren't as involved as they needed to be.
So I'm Amber, and I'm in my final year at the University of Washington. And the class that I wanted to pitch is mythology class.
A class based on this book called The Good Reign by Timothy Eden, local writer. We're going to look at the impact of vampires on our culture, why there's such an attraction to vampires.
I have a bunch of separate science topics that can be grouped together as a single class. Probably call it Odd and Practical Science.
I have another class called How to Turn Ideas into Income, and it's a class about becoming an entrepreneur.
Very quickly move through each thing and say, hey, how many people, if this were the only thing on the board in a particular time slot and you had nothing competing against it, would do this activity? And based on the numbers of hands that we see come up for each thing, we're going to, this afternoon after lunch, prioritize which of these things get up on the board first. How many people are sticking with space and time? Okay, that's going to happen. How many people are sticking with physics videos? 4. Great. Rehearsal I know is going to happen. How many people want to do video workshop? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many people are going to do intro French with Melinda?
So it's great because they have lots of options, but the challenge is going to be that some of the classes that they won't have enough students interested in it, and so they won't run, or some of the classes that they want will be in conflict with other classes that they want.
3-on-3 basketball?
Woo!
Sounds like 3-on-3. Blues with Ray Charles. Ray Charles is not actually coming into Sunday.
It's a strange process in the sense that what's the strongest interest actually bubbles to the top, and it's a profound process because the students really are directing the course of their education and the course of the school.
What we're going to do is take, I don't know, should we go like a 45-minute lunch, come back at 12:15? Does that work? Take a longer lunch than usual, but a working lunch as well. So go through your own list and try to really highlight what are those things of yours that you so much want to do that are really high priorities for you.
We use the word core for a class that needs to have a core group of students in it in order for the facilitator to feel comfortable that there's always going to be a basic group that can pursue the topic. But it's open potentially to people dropping in addition to that core group.
If you haven't figured it out yet, days of the week, the time, the beginning of each class, and things are starting to be put up at particular times.
We use HC for a high commitment class, which means that the facilitator needs to know for absolute certain that they're not only people there to do the class, but that they are there for the term that the class is being offered, willing to do the homework, understand what's involved in the class.
You three, and Dexter, what works for you? Juliana, what works for you on your schedule? If this was what was on the board. So she can come in Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. We're going to put her in here, or here.
Better to do it Tuesday or Thursday so she doesn't bleed into community hour.
Good thinking. Let's do it Tuesday or Thursday. Thursday.
Any of those places work.
So, Ella,
Actually
Thursday?
Would that be drop-in?
Oh wait, but
Yes.
I'm in rehearsal G. So can we do it on? Can it be on Wednesday?
A drop-in can be a pure drop-in, and then at that point, that means that anytime, anyone, and the facilitator will be there whether people show up or not. Well, and in a drop-in class, they might discuss whether they are going to continue the class. If people stop dropping in, they might stop. And it's one of the beautiful things about curriculum at PSCS is that classes that haven't been set up as high commitment have the option of finishing when the class is done. You know, if they come to a natural point at the end of that particular piece of pursuit, You can be done in the middle of a term, no problem.
What will kids do in that time?
Well, it opens up a slot, so we like to think of it as, you know, the tree falling in the rainforest, all of a sudden a shaft of light comes in. There's an opportunity for something to start up in the middle of a term, which is also something that we celebrate the possibility of, which is that classes don't always have to start at the beginning of a term.
We want them to think creatively and outside of the box, and that's what this process does, is it puts them in a scenario where we all are thinking creatively and outside of the box, gets them to practice that and gets them to own it. Being immersed in what PSCS offers that I call the product of being in the school. And the activities and things that happen are the cherry on top. They're the bonuses. But being here and engaged with the people that come together, that's what we do. And so when they engage in something, they're not engaging because someone has made them. They're engaging because they themselves have found that it's going to be valuable and important to them.